So here's our results. It seems we have a winner, folks. I'm going to let everybody, well, anybody who happens to be here right now who didn't get a vote yesterday, you can have a chance. Though I think we won't catch up at this point. So I think we've got the winner, which is Axel. So guys, why was that your favourite? I'm curious. It seems to have run away with it. And I'm very curious why that is. But I'm glad we've got a clear winner. That's awesome. And hi Zexy, how are you doing today? Hope you're having a good day. And thank you for your idea as well about the timeline, Zexy. I don't know if you saw my response, but I love it. Big fan of that approach. We'll talk about that more in a sec once we've got this poll screenshotted and stuff. But it's awesome. And we'll make a few little edits to the timeline. Okay, so let's screenshot this now. Print screen. And I'll pop it over on the Trello later on. Okay. Done. So we can delete that now. Thanks for all your votes, everybody. So Axel won. So if we go over to our dialogue, we can change that name immediately to Axel now. And folks, if you wanna have a look at this link that I've just put up in chat should take you right to this page. Thank you for the sub. Oh my goodness, Tetsu 25 months in a row. Is that true? I doubt it would be that, but 25 months is ridiculous. Thank you so much for that support, Tetsu. That is like 2 years and a whole month. How's it going, Tetsu? Let's give some hype to Tetsu. Thank you so much for that crazy support, my friend. Okay, so I hope you're doing well, Tetsu. I hope your week has been treating you well. Going okay? How are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good, Tetsu. And Zexy's been doing pretty good too, mate. I have to step away in a few to grab some food, but my first day is going really well. Awesome. Well, I hope your food is scrumptious. Is that a word? I think it means yummy, doesn't it? Okay, so one thing I did do, I popped the screenshot of the dialogue over in dialogue discussion, and I did change a few things around from yesterday. Rather than Meryl mentioning her oil drum boyfriend immediately, I've moved that over to later on, because I feel that fits quite well for her to be like, it's the truth, it's what Axel told me. And then for Elvira to immediately go into saying, are you still seeing that rusty old drum? Because before, it felt a bit random for Elvira to mention him when Meryl had said it all the way back here before. So I am much more fond of that approach. So where have we got the gap where we need to add the name here? So we can get rid of that red note thing now because we've done the poll. It's all complete. It's pretty good in that you are pretty and you are good. Yay! Oh, thank you, Tetsu. You are too kind. Right, so his name is Axel and he's not rusty. Yeah, she's getting a bit she's getting a bit shallow there, dear Meryl is. So I wanted to play that up a bit, like show Meryl's emphasis, like how she values physical appearance here. And I'm sure she does value Axel for other things too. I mean, Van made a really good point yesterday. He said that because he's a bad boy, he's exciting, and he dives in first to protect Meryl a lot because he likes the trouble, and he's probably quite brave. And she's also probably attracted to that, but those kind of traits about the Battlewildren can come in a bit later as well, because we'll meet him, I'm sure, and we'll find out more about him then. And I thought, yeah, Woody can come in and start bragging about himself at that point, and then Elvira is like, somebody, I forgot who it was now, but it was a few weeks ago, somebody mentioned about Elvira being snobby and a bit racist, and she'd like say that they're mongrels if her barrel children had kids with any other kind of type of container. And I thought that would be the perfect opportunity for Oliver to pipe up and carry on with that conversation about the stars again, because the goal was to kind of get Hank to get involved and share his wisdom about the real reason stars exist. But there was a worry about it feeling a bit forced if he just randomly did that, so I wanted it to flow well. So I think that's decent. I think I'm happy with that, but I'm definitely up for hearing suggestions. So we will have to do Hank's dialogue box, and I wasn't sure about pot as the term of endearment for Hank. I mean, it's not too bad, we can go with that, but I'm curious what other endearment names there are for Hank. And then at this point we have the option to skip ahead. We have a choice box in case some people who are impatient and don't want to read all the dialogue, and also if it's their second or third playthrough and they already know what the conversation is, so they just want to skip ahead. So that would just take them straight to the hijacking scene, the action part that matters, which we will maybe work on today. I think so. And then we've got the other option to carry on, and I feel this is an opportunity to get to know the companions even more and have some more awesome dialogue, guys. So definitely, if we come up with some potential topics of conversation again today for the second part of the conversation from this point, we can totally make a little red box and pop it down here so we can refer to it when we work on that conversation. Exactly, you're spot on with that edit. Moving Axel to be mentioned after the story was concluded was good move. Yeah, thank you, Zexy. Appreciate the encouragement. It took a bit of thinking, because after dinner yesterday I got on here and thought, so how are we going to do this? And I was like, oh yes, it wouldn't be too weird for Meryl to mention him afterwards, because this dialogue box was pretty beefy, you know. It was like double the size of this yesterday, and there was quite a lot there, so it didn't hurt to break it up at all. And I'm not 100% sure yet of the wording of this bit. I think it can be made even better and probably into more of a interesting tale and better like wording. But it's not terrible, but I think we can make it a bit more natural sounding, perhaps. So we can work on that. And yeah, I changed Carol's story. The reason for that was I wanted it to be as cute and sweet and childlike as possible, like this tale that Carol tells. And I think it kind of contrasts well with Meryl's, having like a more childlike tale where they're magical flowers and it's all nice and pretty and happy, and then Meryl pipes in with like a really dark, horrible story, which tells you a lot about Axel. It's a little bit of a foreshadow about Axel, perhaps. And I added that to Oliver's box as well. I forgot to add that yesterday, but it definitely adds a bit more to Oliver as well. And yeah, so we're doing quite well. We're making good progress. We've got this conversation here too that is nearly done, just a few little additions to add to perfect it. And I've also marked the scenes that are on this page and the ones that we've still got to add, because there's some earlier scenes, scene 2 and 4, that I've done and that are on other sheets on draw.io, but they're not on here. And I am going to take into consideration what Master Emerald said, because she says if you add too much on one page it can get a bit laggy. But it's okay so far, so I think there's room to add a bit more. I think somewhere between 5 to 10 scenes might be a good thing to plan. So I'll probably add some of more of these scenes on here and see how it goes. And as soon as it starts lagging, that's when I'll think about splitting up the page. But I think it's pretty cool, because this way I can just send you guys to the whole page then, and you get to see all several scenes in one go that we've done. So feel free to have a peep of that, guys, if you're interested in having a look at the dialogue. And hi Asriel and Juice, how are you guys doing today? It's lovely to see you both. You're having a good Thursday. I also really like using flowers rather than tents. It could be kind of weird for barrels to know about tents, but for sure they would know about flowers. I'm not seeing any changes that I don't like. Yeah, sexy. Well, that's wonderful to hear. I would say we like 95% there with this first half of the conversation. I guess the next thing would be coming up with interesting topics that the characters could talk about for the second part of the conversation after this point, just before the hijacking, I guess. And I suppose it's just thinking who do we want to... It's about, what's that word that we used yesterday, or what Lexi used in particular, emotional something, like sort of emotional, not emotional attachment to a character, but something along those lines. We want to do all we can in this short space of time to feel like we care about these characters, because that will motivate us to carry on playing the game and want to save them from the kidnapping. And I feel like people will already care about Oliver at this point because he's just cute and he said some really sweet childlike things in this part of the conversation. I think Hank is, if we can do some really sweet dialogue with Hank here, people will like him too. And I also think because he's going to get hurt in the hijacking, that's going to be the moment he gets his hole in him. People will, start also care about Hank too. And yeah, if we just get people liking one character, that's a win. Some characters people might not warm to. Everybody's going to have a different type of character they like. Emotional impact, oh, that's it. Okie doke. So we've also established that how they're all related. We did this bit with Alvira because we wanted to show the connection of how Hank's part of the family. He's their granddad. He's Carol's granddad and Meryl's granddad, but we didn't want to just unnaturally force that as a title because we've already referred to Meryl as his sister and Alvira as the grandmother by calling them her granddaughters. And so making Alvira show that she's the wife of Hank was also another way to do that, which was a suggestion by someone yesterday, so that was pretty clever. And we have another scene to work on, which I would also like to start today, even though we haven't finished the flashback scene. We'll probably do the hijacking first, but doing scene 8, this one here, Carol, the Barrel and Rose conversation, which is literally directly after the flashback. The flashback will end and we'll go back to the Everbloom Forest. And Carol will just have like a bit of a mini monologue, I guess, where she's just probably having a bit of a rage or feeling sorry for herself about the situation. and then that'll be it really. Oh, my camera went really dark then. That'd be it then. The player's free to move again and carry on walking through the forest just before the first boss encounter. I couldn't imagine scene 8 being super long. Not probably quite as long as what scene 6 was anyway. But who knows? If anybody has any ideas, then I wouldn't refuse to make it longer. It's all about if it adds to it. The second half should be more filler, character establishment and development, showing off their personalities and a bit about their lore. And because it's filler, it won't hurt if the player skipped it. They'll just miss out on some interesting tidbits. Couldn't agree more, Zexy. I'm very actually glad we've got this little choice thing. I think it's pretty neat and a good idea, because we could go overboard and have it be super long if we want. We don't have to go ridiculous, but you know, we could. Let's just say if we didn't have this, some people might get frustrated by how long it is. So that helps for the people that don't want to see it. Right. And we have to realise we want to make the most of this, because we might not get the opportunity to have this kind of conversation ever again, where they're all together as a group. Because from this point on, Carol's not with them anymore, and they'll probably get separated, and everything goes into chaos from the hijacking onwards because of all the horrible stuff surrounding the raindrops. And I'm sure there's going to be some great scenes and moments with this group after the hijacking, but it feels like because they're all together as a group, it's like, and it's all happy at this point, it's a good opportunity to have that banter. Okay, so one thing I want to do, I've added some little emojis next to here. I'm a bit obsessed with doing that lately. But it adds a bit of context to what the scene is and what happens before the scene. So I popped this in the Discord as well, if anybody wanted to have a closer look at the timeline. And Zexy pointed out something really interesting. And we're going to talk about that now, and we're going to just make a few edits, and obviously if anybody's got any idea about the flashback barrel companion conversation, then feel free to give some ideas for topics of conversation there as well, because that's definitely something to think about. Hi Loot, just new here. I love your accent. Also barrels, hi, you like them? You can have a closer look at them if you want. They're awesome, aren't they? Which one's your favourite? Welcome to the stream. And Zexy just said the second half should... Oh, I've already read that. I always do that. I always realise I'm reading something I've already read. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into general idea discussion and copy what you said, because it'll save me having to keep going back. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Woody isn't a barrel, but he's my friend now. Woody's wonderful. He's only said one line of dialogue so far, but he's made an impact, I feel. He's the funny one. He's the comic relief. So basically what we're doing at the moment, we're making a scene. We're putting together a scene, having a bit of banter between this group of characters, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun. And these guys, they're all linked in with the main story, and that's what we've got here. This timeline and plot section that we've been working on just gives an explanation to how they tie into the story and what exactly is going on. And what's so interesting is, at this point in the game, while we're having this, we don't know. Nobody's going to have a clue of the dark the dark story that lies ahead. Because all this stuff about them being used for nefarious purposes will all be slowly revealed over the course of the game. Probably wouldn't be too late, but it's not going to be revealed straight away. Certainly not in this scene. The hijacking's going to happen and people will be like, okay, I wonder why that's happened, and it'll slowly be revealed why over time. For scene 8, maybe have Carol being forceful, demanding that Rose tell her where she was taken, and after getting more angry, she finally fully recognises that Rose can't communicate, and Carol has a line showing that realisation. Oh, that's interesting. I definitely wanted to talk about Rose's lack of being able to communicate in scene 8, because it'll all make sense when they find the painter's easel in the Everbloom Forest further up then, and people will realise that's how Carol's going to make Rose communicate. So we kind of have to point out that in scene 8, I think. But the thing is, Carol probably already knows Rose can't talk because of when she was in the cage with the hare. During the scene with Fiona Bookington, have we got it here? Here it is. The second part of Fiona Bookington's conversation. We have trying to find the specific part of the conversation. Well, we've got Rose hissing. I'm sure I've missed something now. I'm going to have to update this, but we've got here that can't even talk properly. So Carol being with the hero, even though we don't see her while this conversation's happening, we assume is there anyway, because she's the inventory. So she would probably be like realising this during this particular scene. So maybe she just talks about, we can think of a way for her to like express her rage at Rose not being able to talk somehow, I'm sure. Would Carol really pay attention to what a flashbag says? A flashbag, I love it. Why? What do you imagine Carol thinking when she, that's the thing, because Rose hasn't said a human word since being here. She's not said it here. And Fiona even said it as well in the cabin that she can't talk. So Carol would be pretty slow if she hadn't realised it at this point. So, but yes, we can start that conversation today as well for scene 8. I think that'll be cool. Right, so back to timeline and plot. And thank you for that follow as well, Loot. I can't remember if I said thank you, but thank you very much. Okay, so, and yes, anybody who is new here and wants to have a read about the project, feel free to have a look. I have no strong thoughts yet. You bring up a really good point that I hadn't recognised yet. Yeah, we'll have it when we start scene 8, which we'll definitely do at some point. I definitely want to make a start, even if we don't get the scene 100% decided. We can have a little think about what Carol can say. I've got a couple of ideas, but maybe you guys can bounce some ideas with me. Right, so I have got Zexi's notes for this. So at the moment we have, the timeline's it's a short span of time at the moment, and that I've always thought maybe we would change this timeline just a bit, because it's 6 months to now isn't much, and Zexi suggested making, more time here, and he's got a really good reason for it. So basically it's a good excuse, what you've said, to make Hank and Elvira older, because you suggested that the companions had come to life like in 3-month intervals, like to sort of mean different generations over time of ages, which is really cool. So Elvira and Hank could come to life first, then Carol, Meryl and Woody, and then Oliver last. And it's a really good way, because it does make sense. It fleshes it out a bit more rather than them all coming to life at once, and spreads things out a bit. And let's have a read of it more. Yeah, and at the point that Oliver comes to life, the spell's kind of dying off then at that point. And I think that's pretty neat. I like that a lot. I'm fond of having generations of sentient objects that have slowly come to life over time. And it doesn't change anything at all. Like, it doesn't affect the plot massively. It's just a nice touch and just makes it more believable, I think. Okay, so let's see. Are we going to keep 1 month ago for when she was separated from her companions? Is 1 month ago a reasonable amount of time? Yeah, I think it could be. It's more this part, isn't it, we're going to make bigger. Because Oliver's a little one, so we don't want to make it too long ago, because he'd be a big boy, Oliver would. He'd have grown up. Okay, so if Oliver was brought to life, say 3 months ago, Oliver's hit this one. I'm going to copy and paste this particular bit box in case I need to remember what it said, but we'll put I imagine that Wood is the same generation as Meryl and Carol, so he would probably be when they are. Right, so let's move this where they should be. Somewhere around there. Right, are we going to make this a year ago or that's the thing. Let's get Elvira and Hank brought to life first before we think of how long ago that was. Oh yes, that I really like. The other idea was to make it be 12 months ago for Elvira and Hank, because you said that 9 months ago would have been their parents, which is awesome. Pretty smart. Elvira and Hank. And even though we haven't met the parents yet, there's still a bit of missing detail there. It still implies that there were parents, so I like that. Hank and Elvira will be the oldest of the barrels. Yeah, I think so too. So that's the question. If this was 12 months ago too, that would mean the sentience would have had to have happened immediately. So the question is, are we going to have it a waiting period, or will those two have more or less been born straight away? That's a question to consider too. And if not, if there was a waiting time, how big was that waiting time? I've also got to mention that trees and fruits come to life too. We'll put that one in here. I wonder when the boss battle fruits come to life. The Decavagogions. I can't say that word. But I wonder when they would have come to life. It makes you wonder things like that. You can come up with all sorts of theories. Right, so yeah, that's the only thing I'm wondering now. Should we? How big a time period would that have been? I'm going to put a question mark there for now, seeing as we're not sure. Because okay, I'm going to read because I might have missed something. Okay. So let's see if this makes sense still. So I'm assuming this is another question that's come into my mind now. Because there's such a long time period in between, especially Oliver and when the spell was cast. There's like 9 months, maybe even more, that Oliver's still been just a cookie jar that's not been alive. I assume that when he would have left them, tossed them aside, these containers, when he thought the spell failed, and maybe then somebody else picked up the containers and just maybe had just used them for other things, and then over that period of time they weren't around. Or would they have literally have still been left in the forest, just sitting there for months on end together in a pile? That's what I'm wondering about, whether they were still in that pile in the forest, after being tossed aside before they came to life, or whether somebody who used them for other things while they was still not sentient, if that makes any sense. Hope I'm not rambling on too much. Okay, I do think we might want to have a vote on if Oliver is the last generation, or if the spell still has magic to bring things to life. If more things are still being brought to life, it lets us have future storylines quest in the Everbloom Forest dealing with the next generation of barrels. But if the magic has died out, that would mean Meryl and Axel couldn't have given them a reason to try and become humans, among other Oh, you mean couldn't have kids given them a reason to try and become humans, among other internal character pressures on the barrels having to deal with. That's pretty interesting, Zetty, and pretty important. So I'm gonna copy this as well, what you've said, and I'm gonna be saving this in my notepad file. I really like the idea. I mean, we discussed it yesterday a little bit. I really love the idea of a storyline where the barrels consider becoming humans, or become humans temporary, some way or another, a spell or some other reason, and they have to make the decision if they want to stay that way or whether they want to go back to being a barrel. And it was an interesting point that was raised about Carol wanting to stay a barrel, or preferring her life as a barrel because she wants to be accepted for who she is, but it being the opposite for Meryl and Axel, they wanting to be humans. I think it's an interesting plot line. I like it. Hi Zyrios, how are you doing? It's good to see you. You having a good day? Being the only one of their kind that they'll ever be. Yeah, I like that approach for sure, but it's also interesting having a mystery about whether it's still bringing things to life or not. Maybe that mystery can remain there, but then we realise that that's it, the last generation has stopped I guess we could always have a poll as well at some point whenever there's a relevant time to do one. Yeah, because if there are more generations, it would still be happening when episode 1 begins. Things would still be coming to life. It makes you think about the fruits. Like, we've got lemon, we've got the blueberry, and we've got, I mean, it's Blueberry's birthday in the game, isn't it? He's wearing a birthday hat and he's clearly the youngest of all the fruits in the party with the fruits. Lemon's the oldest and Blueberry's the youngest. So even the generations have affected them. And maybe Blueberry is the same age as Oliver. Maybe Blueberry and Oliver came to life at the same time, and Lemon came to life when Elvira and Hank did. And the other fruits were more around the 9-month and 6-month mark. It's so fun just talking about this. I love lore. And then we've got Stumpy and Father Maple as well, which, if you haven't been around that long in the streams, Stumpy and Father Maple are enemies in the Everbloom Forest that we fleshed out a bit around stream 60 or so. Around stream 60 in the VODs. You'll see them. Stumpy was pretty popular among chat. People were very fond of Stumpy. And I'd assume Stumpy would be pretty young as well. Stumpy's a child too. Because he's the son of Father Maple. Yeah. It's interesting, guys, because in Lakefall, if you've had a good look at Lakefall, I mean, you'd see from the story so far as well, there's a tree in Lakefall that's alive in the middle of Lakefall as well, and it makes you think, what about that tree? What brought that tree to life? Did the spell bring that tree to life too? It must have, because what other explanation would there be for it being alive? Maybe that tree came to life the same time Hank and Elvira did too, 12 months ago. And the reason for that tree is it's all linked to the whole massacre in Lakefall. There was a massacre and the tree's kind of the protector. Maybe when the massacre happened, the tree came to life shortly after and people saw it as a sign. Or, you know, that he was the tree's some god, and that's why he came to life, to protect them all and protect the dead. Because it's all just because of the spell, but that's not how the people of Lakefall saw it. It could be interesting. It's going to be interesting to flesh out Lakefall more when we go back there, because as soon as we've done scene 10, after the battle with the fruits, we'll be heading back to Lakefall, and that'll be the opportunity to do the side quests in that area and find out about the tree that lives there and all sorts. Axel just wants to start a rock band, but he has no fingers. Oh, that's tragic. Oh my goodness me. It makes me actually feel sorry for Axel, because he can't do his dreams. He can't follow his dreams if he's got no fingers. That's quite funny, you know. I'm saving that. I like it. Could be part of a character arc. Right, we have to lead the mystery for the player, but we, on the game design side, need to have an idea of what we can build into the story. Yeah, that's true. It's exactly the same as what we've talked about a lot this week, when we say, it's nice to not reveal everything to the player, because no player wants a bunch of dialogue thrown at them of information, but us as the writers need to know it all and know how so it's very similar to that. But yeah, so I guess, yeah, what should we do? Because this is something we're going to expand on when we go back to Lakefall as well, seeing as this whole living sentient beings and objects that shouldn't be sentient is very much a focus in the whole of Everbloom Forest and Lakefall anyway. It's going to be it's all going to be like part of the side quests in that plot too. So we'll have an opportunity to probably really flesh out and confirm how the lore is with all this then as well. Please tell me there's a tree that came to life that's called Trent. Well, we've got one called Father Maple, and I think the other tree's nameless at the moment, the one that's in the middle of the forest. I have a mod here called Trent, Special Stream Cannon, that's his name, Trent. And Cara, thank you for the follow, welcome. Thank you for the, hope you're having a wonderful day. How are you all doing, guys? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so yeah, so that's one question. Are we gonna have the oldest of them come to life more or less immediately after the spell was cast? Or are we gonna have a waiting period? Either could work, but I'm curious if people have any thoughts on that I might have not thought about. Okay, so I don't know if this is accurate. I'm just trying to make it real for what the positioning, but it's probably a bit off at the moment. I can tidy it up later. Oh my goodness, I love your emote cover. It's adorable. You could also push the spell casting time to a little over a year ago, 13, 14, 15 months, for example. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm thinking 15 months could be an interesting one because everything's happening in 3-month intervals, isn't it? There's a new, every 3 months something is coming to life. So to me, logically, it makes sense that if we're going to have a waiting period, it would be a 3-month one, seeing as everything's happening in 3 months. And as we said, 9 months, some things could have come to life then. Like the parents in between that generation. I like that we've left that open. Okay, so I'm glad. I think we've covered everything now. If I've forgot anything, feel free to let me know. But we've also got our dialogue to carry on with today. So we could always... we've got a few things we can do here. We can either start the conversation that we talked about where we get to develop the characters more and have more banter. We could work on the hijacking scene, or we could work on scene 8, which is after the flashback. I'm thinking, because I do want to work on scene 8, but it probably makes more sense to at least do the hijacking first and then do scene 8. And as for this bit here, or if we want to know more about the companions, we can always do that after. Because this is going to be something that's going to take a bit of time to come up with some good topics, you know. Like at the moment I'm doing a blank. I'm not sure what to discuss other than this part about Alvira. I think that's the only one we haven't covered here. These boxes we've all covered, I think. But we do have to do Hank's dialogue as well. What did we say? The kings of old. So we'll have to think about how we can express that at some point. And I still want to work on this box more. I think I can make it even better. Okay. I think the hijacking is the most important scene in the flashback. It's what's going to drive the main plot forward. So yeah, I think it makes sense to do the hijacking scene next because of its importance, and also because if we're going to do some cutscene work next week, which I want to do, that's going to be a big part, getting that hijacking scene put together. And as for this bit, the stories, the companion conversation, it wouldn't be the end of the world if we waited a few weeks to do that. I mean, I'd love to do it soon because I'm having so much fun, but it wouldn't hurt, would it, to leave that aside for a bit until we come up with some ideas. But as for the hijacking and scene 8, they're more important because they continue the story and the lead up to the first boss and stuff. So right, so the hijacking, let's remind ourselves exactly what occurs in this hijacking. So Carol and her companions were on a cart on the road, trader, right, so that we've covered that, we know they're on a cart. Right, so we've got commotion outside when the cart gets hijacked. So I'm gonna copy these and just bring them into here, and we can write some notes. It's gonna just be easier to see it all on one screen. Who knows? It always pastes them all up here. Okay, so what I am going to do is I am going to continue the hijacking from here, from this point, straight after the Carol fine bit. Obviously, when we add the extra dialogue with these guys, we'll have to move it across a bit, but for now, we'll just carry it on from here, I'd say. And we'll just write the notes in here, how we're going to do this scene. I kind of like the approach where we've got our red boxes to refer to. Hi Squirrels, how you doing? What was the result? The last poll, Axel won. Axel was the winner, guys, so thank you for your votes. We've added that now on Meryl's dialogue, so it fits quite well. It works. Meryl and Axel both ending in a L. I suppose it's got a nice ring to it when you think about it, Meryl and Axel. Okay, so how are you doing, Squirrels? I hope you're having a wonderful day. And guys, I'm going to give you a link as well, just because I know some peeps here might want to have a closer look at the dialogue we've been working on. If you want to have a peep, feel free to click that link. You will have to open it in the Draw.io app though, I believe. Okay. I think it's really common when writing to move on to something else and revisit past parts of the project later with a fresh pair of eyes and time to think without pressure of a deadline. Yeah, I feel the same way about when we do assets as well, because I was saying last week when we worked on the assets, I need to look at this with fresh eyes. It's sometimes very hard to do an asset in one sitting, and it's the same with writing as well. Sometimes you need to leave it to the side for a bit and come back, and ideas can come to you, can't they, at a later date. And I think that for sure with this part of the conversation where we expand on it, I think over the week, next week as well, we might come up with some really interesting topics of conversation that they can have that aren't coming into our heads right now. But, you know, we just need time, don't we, to think of these things. So it just makes more sense to go straight to the hijacking now and get this part done. I'm excited to do some scene work next week, that's for sure. And we might come up with ideas once we start putting the scene together, that we might start getting ideas then as well. Great, it fits perfectly. Yay! I like polls, they're fun. Okay, so we're going to just write some notes about how this hijacking scene's going to work. So I think I'm literally going to just copy and paste into our red box, because these green boxes, I'm using them for our timeline. But I like using the red ones for dialogue related things. Just turn it into a red one. Okay. And I haven't deleted the red ones we've got down here because I still like referring to them, but I will delete them when we feel we don't need them anymore. But they're out the way at the moment. They're not doing us any harm. Oh yeah, I'm using Georgia for the dialogue boxes instead of Helvetica. I think it's because with like text like that, I think I prefer the serif fonts. It's weird, but I generally prefer sans serif when it's not dialogue. Okay, so there is commotion outside when the car gets hijacked. Something falls on Hank, making a hole on him. Carol rolls out the car. Okay, we should probably split these so we can talk about them in more detail. So we'll split those two for a sec. So commotion when the car gets hijacked. So basically, as soon as the conversation ends, there's going to just be a noise. And maybe we got to think about what sort of expand on that commotion, like what that commotion is exactly going to be. So when we think of a hijacking, what sort of noises, what sort of like shakes, like, you know, are we going to have, is the car going to shake, is things like that, just the really detailed bits, because the hijacking scene itself isn't going to have much dialogue. It's going to be very much action based, and there is probably going to be a bit of dialogue thrown in there now and again, like the batch, like showing shock that the characters have got, yeah. So I feel like we should watch the hijacking YouTube video of a cart being hijacked, just to give some inspiration here. Also, if any of them was gonna swear, who would it be? Let's have a look at them. Oliver wouldn't swear, but he'd be scared. Because I imagine when the commotion happens, one of these guys will say a curse word in barrel language, maybe. Or we're going to show some sort of emotion from them. That's what I'm thinking anyway. But I'm intrigued what you guys think. Axel, LOL. You like Axel? It's a good bad boy name. The human driving the cart shouts something like, get out of the road, and then get shot by an arrow or something. Oliver is like, Mama, what's happening? That's true. We can also show Oliver being scared again as a way to show the shock and surprise of what's going on. Okay, that's interesting. The human driving the cart's to be an interesting one that I'm imagining, because we wouldn't have seen them on the scene, or maybe we would. It's hard to imagine, because I'm thinking we'll only see the actual cart of the interior part of the cart rather than the exterior, but we will be seeing the exterior obviously, because Carol's gonna fall out and then she'll be outside. So this is like from Carol's point of view. So for Carol, she doesn't know what the person looks like, so we'll have a text box come up anyway, and we'll probably just say cart driver. We'll think of a way to do that if we go with that approach, I'm sure. Right, one thing I'm going to do, give me a sec guys, I'm getting YouTube up. And I don't want to like Google something like cart hijacking and something like super not safe for work coming up or something. Okay. So I've just put in cart hijacking on YouTube to see what's coming. Assassin's Creed as cart hijacking. I think out of all these videos, that's the most relevant. So, I haven't played Assassin's Creed, but I'm curious how a cart hijacking comes about. 'Cause sometimes I have to see a visual thing like this to help imagining scenes take place. Oh, horses as well. You know, completely slipped my mind that horses are going to be involved in this as well. Okay. That was an easy hijack. There was not even any... There's not even any... It was just standing there. Okay, but one thing that is going to happen is that Hank's going to fall. We discussed this actually, didn't we, a few streams ago, and I was getting a bit confused because I'm not good at picturing things by description, that's why. But I guess, like, I'm imagining something like this, like, it literally, during the hijacking, the person that got the cart is escaping with it, and it's like banging into trees and banging into all sorts, and it's just speeding like crazy, and that is how Hank gets injured and how Carol falls out. So, and I don't know how good RPG Maker's going to be at kind of doing this. I'm still not sure how we're going to handle the scene, but we're going to do our best. We're going to see how we can make it really awesome. But even if we feel like a scene might be too hard to make work in RPG Maker, I still want to write it down anyway, because it's better to be detailed about these things and simplify them, I feel, rather than the other way around. Okay, so I'm gonna there's some commotion. The cart gets hijacked, so we don't know it's got hijacked, so we've got to think from Carol's point of view. So we'll get rid of that bit. Why have we got a random text bit here? The cart shakes is just one animation I can think of, but I'm sure there can be others. Okay, so the hijackers probably would... Are they going to just throw the person off, or are they going to murder them? I think they'd murder them. If they are, then we'd hear weapon noises and screams. Wheels. How do we express this? Wheels being fast. My goodness. Wheels. Cart banging into things. Oh yeah, horse screams. I don't want to, but we might have to. Human screams. Horse screams. I mean, is there any way to have cart hijacking and horses not be involved? Right, wheels, where is... I don't know how to express the wheel sounds at all. Cart banging into things. I mean, we could, I don't think it's 100% necessary to have the rider of the cart speak, because he might have got killed before he got chance. And it might make things a little bit more mysterious. But I feel like hearing a weapon sound and a human scream, and horse screams maybe as well, might be enough to show that what's happening. Especially as Carol rolls out, we're going to see the scene in full view, I guess, then as well. The cart will have gone off and there'll be dead bodies, vampires rose over there biting the hijackers. It's all going to go crazy. If you use ox and horses won't be involved, me thinks. Yeah, it doesn't have to be horse. I guess any animal that would realistically... Oh, they're still animals, aren't they, oxens, though? They are, aren't they? I'm going to feel like a right silly if oxens aren't even animals. They are, aren't they? They're just like another... It's more like a ball. I'm sure oxens are balls. I'm a noob. Okay. Cart banging into things falling off. Oh yeah, objects in the cart falling on the floor as well, because we haven't done the cart scene, so it's hard to visualize what's in the cart right now. Falling over. The animals, yeah, sort of teasing you. I always take things literally, remember, Zach, so I don't detect sarcasm. I always think it's real jokes. Okay, so we've got some description here, but obviously, guys, if you've got any ideas how to make this scene play out, feel free to suggest, because I'm literally going to just list any things that will fit with a car hijacking. I'm going to actually separate these. I know why that text has gone like that, but I'm trying to do the line height, but it's not working for some reason. Oh, it is now. There we go. Right, so we got descriptions. Also, as objects in the cart fall over, Hank's gonna be a barrel that rolls as well. He's gonna roll over. He's gonna bang into something, or something's gonna bang into him, and he will have this horrible hole in him. It's tragic. So, as well, we have to. You guys had some ideas, so I can always read back on that VOD to remind myself what they were. Feel free to suggest in here today as well. Something falls on Hank. So here we've got that something falls on Hank. Do you guys think something falling on Hank rather than him falling into something might be the better way to take this? Either could totally work. But I think it's probably more tragic, isn't it, if something fell on Hank, you know? But it's got to be realistically make this sort of hole, I guess. Because he's got a metal ring in the way of this hole. Okay, Carol rolls out the cart as well. So I'd say that these two things would more or less happen at the same time. I'd say the Hank thing happens first and then Carol rolls out a cart immediately after that. So the cart could have like, even like something's gonna happen, it's gonna like suddenly turn or something to that degree that's gonna make it a strong enough force for Carol to roll over. Or speeds up. Actually, that it all depends. Yeah, that could happen first, and would a bit more fun. You think it's fun? Fun? Maybe Carol rolls in, Tank breaks him, then rolls out. That would be heartbreaking because that means Carol's to blame. What do you guys think about another barrel being the cause of Hank's disability? Or even the reason for why is that way? Because this is an interesting character building moment. The decision we make for how Hank gets disabled is actually quite a big deal when you think of it, because it's going to kind of shape his whole character from this point on. You know, especially if we go the direction of somebody being to blame rather than it being an accident. Imagine if it was Oliver. Did it? I think Oliver would be the one that was broken, actually, not Hank, if Oliver fell into it. My goodness. That could be pretty tragic. Everything happens so fast. Carol doesn't realise she's the reason for the whole, and they meet up again with the plan. That's actually really interesting. Like, if Carol actually didn't know, because everything just happened so fast, she wasn't aware, and she was already out the cart by the time she saw the aftermath of things. My goodness, I'm feeling like really sad just thinking of this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so how are we gonna let's picture this scene then. How are we gonna make this happen? Because I think we should do it. I'm all for tragic stories, so you know, we're gonna do it. So once the card speeds up or turns dramatically, I'm not sure which one we're gonna have. It all depends how flexible RPG Maker's gonna be for me in terms of making a scene. If I can't really show turning that effectively, I'm gonna just go with the speeding up thing. But Carol will roll out. Yeah, we don't know where they're positioned in the cart right now, so it's pretty hard to say. We should probably be a little bit vague about it right now and expand on it when we've actually got the scene and we know where they're standing. But I still like to picture it in my head, you know. I'm tempted to just draw a box. You know, because it's going to take a while to do the cart scene because we're going to make it look all pretty and stuff. But it's not going to take a while to do a little box. So, guys, how do you imagine the cart looking? We can just do a square for now. Imagine something like this, something rectangular, the shape of a room. Like this would be the cart. And the barrels will be inside. So let's just get rid of make it darker inside. So I just want to do this because I think it'll be, to be able to see how this happens and doing it this way, I'm going to be able to picture it better. And so we've got Hank. Right, so the thing is, if we're going to do the skip ahead thing, they have to still be sitting in the same position they were sitting. You know, we got to be smart about this, because it's going to look weird if otherwise, if they're just suddenly moved into different positions. So Hank would have been sitting next to Oliver. And yeah, this isn't going to look perfect right now because we haven't got any furniture, or so it's going to look a bit weird. But if we can just get the positioning, then we can get a better picture of how the roll is going to happen. So Oliver, we need to be careful because we don't want Oliver getting involved in the accident. Of course, he's very delicate, he's made out of clay. If Hank's here and Oliver's there and Carol's here or something, it's going to be nasty and Oliver's going to get caught in it. So get Carol. We don't have to get the others because they're not going to be involved, but we need to think of where Carol and Hank are positioned. Oops. Go. And yeah, still got to do some roll animations as well. I'm assuming, let's just rotate this. Let's rotate Carol a sec. Should it be something like this? You know, she'd be on her side. She'd roll, and sometimes we'd see her face and sometimes we wouldn't because she'd be spinning. And yeah, she's gonna have to obviously roll vertically because we can't. The perspective we've got can't be horizontal. So I don't know if we make the cart bigger. It's hard to judge the size of the cart at the moment, but she'd definitely be rolling out this way when it happens. So that means Hank has to be here. Awesome. What do you guys think? Hi Binary, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. I've been away for a while. It seems Carol has been brilliant. Look at all those bars. We have a really cool backstory behind it, Binary. It's all spell related, so they haven't actually had children. Not biologically anyway, but it's all pretty awesome. We're happy with it, aren't we, guys? We're putting together a scene now. How are you doing, Binary? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Working and lurking again. Hi, Van. But I'm going to show you guys our characters. Here they all are. Carol and her friends. Where do babies come from? Magic. They come from magic. Yeah, and that's the question as well, that they're not currently aware of their existence or why they are the way they are. It's all going to get very philosophical here. It's gonna get deep, guys, this story. Okay, I think I'll leave the physical design to you. I'm really bad with geometry and shapes when it comes to creative expression. Yes, it's funny, isn't it? Because I'm awful when it comes to reading descriptions, but I'm better at seeing a visual picture. We all like learn a different way, don't we? But right, so Carol doesn't have to be in the middle when she rolls. Maybe they could be here. Maybe she could roll here. There has to be some sort of force. She can't be too close to Hank because I don't know if there'd be enough force for her to cause that damage if she rolled into him from that distance. So I can imagine her being a bit of a ways off. Or we could have it here. It doesn't really matter really, but all we know is she's going to roll into him and he's going to hurt himself. But I really want Oliver to be out the way. This is the difficult thing here with Oliver, because he has to be next to Oliver because that's how the scene finished. So, but I mean, if he's there and Carol rolls into him, yeah, it's actually really tough. This is to picture. We can do it. It's a challenge. It's a challenge for sure. But basically, what we're trying to do, guys, if you're wondering, all the group are in a cart. There's going to be a cart hijacking that happens, which we've got here in the notes, and Carol's going to. She's going to roll out the cart and accidentally injure Hank in the process. So let's edit this to what the story is now. Zexy explained it quite well. Even more tragic, Zyros said. Something rolls towards Oliver. Hank rolls in front of it to stop it from hitting Oliver. Deflects, hits Carol, and Carol flies out. Oh, so you're saying actually get Oliver involved and Hank is like the saviour. He saves Oliver and Carol rolls out because of Hank. But then we got to also think, yeah, that would injure Carol as well, realistically, if it did injure Hank. But I don't know. I still love the idea of Carol being the cause of it all because she's the MVP here and it's interesting. But I do like the idea of Oliver being protected though by Hank. I do like that bit. But yeah, I think there's something really cool about Carol not realising she's the reason for the whole, but the player knowing. Something really interesting about that. Okay, why is Carol rolling around into her friend's family fellow barrels? Yeah, tragic story binary, that's the reason. Because it's a very sad story where Carol's gonna hurt Hank and make him disabled. That's a reason for him having a hole in him here and here as well. So yeah, I'm trying to kind of set that scene up now and picture it. So they're in this cart and there's a hijacking, all this commotion's going to happen. If you can think of any good realistic cart hijacking visual things or sound effects, feel free to say, of course, because we'll add them to this list. And in the process, there's going to be the cart will dramatically speed up. Carol will roll into Hank, injure him, and get out, like, you know, fall out of the cart herself and lose the family. The family go off without her, unwillingly, of course. Victims of a hijacking, and Carol has been on the road searching for them ever since, I guess. But being a barrel, she can't do much. So she's going to be relying on us as the hero to help her now. So, right. Can we smash the small thing, mate, for a sad moment? No, we cannot. Oliver is the absolute most precious little creature that is never going to die. Well, he might, but he's not. Certainly not yet, anyway. Put him in the way and then make Hank save him from a rampaging Carol jumping in front and then gets hit in the process. I do like that. I think it flashes it out more if, say, Carol's actually about to hit Oliver instead and Hank is like, no, and does that, hits him instead, and he's like, no, not Oliver, Hank's like, woof. And then he's got a hole in him, and Carol just rolls out and doesn't even know where. And then poor old Hank ends up looking like that. Yeah, that's sad. I want to cry. But yeah, we gotta make sure it's realistic, because why would Hank wouldn't like just go woof like that, would he? Or would he? I'm not very good at physics and stuff, so I'm trying to think of how realistically this is all gonna work. Okay, so Rose, keep in mind if a player does us the skip feature, it will be clear to the player that time has skipped, so you don't have to start with them in the same position. You can have them where you want them. Yeah, that's true too. I guess I didn't want it to look super messy with, say, the skips part happening and them all rearranging positions. I kind of like the idea of keeping them where they are for tidiness when that happens, and all this bit that happens here, they all just sit in the same place. Maybe move about a bit, but then go back to where they were. Maybe so that we can keep the position consistent for when the hijacking happens. That's just my personal preference, of course. I mean, it wouldn't hurt if they did skip time and move positions, but I just feel like I want to be tidy about it. So, and I also, it was the idea that Zyros said about Hank protecting Oliver is pretty cool, and it's nice that he happens to be sitting by him as well, because of the conversation they've had together. So it's pretty nice actually that it would turn out that way. Don't touch Oliver, please. Binary Ferret wants the cutie pie dead. No. Realistic carjacking plus barrel people. Not sure if I can find those things no one would be expecting. No, our game's pulling all the shocks, isn't it? It's definitely unique and one of a kind, that's for sure. Is the cart going to be its own map? Yeah, very likely will be. It will just have a square like this, similar to how the rooms look, like how the cabin of the Everbloom Forest looks. I don't know if you guys saw that, but if you've seen the story so far video here, you'll kind of see how the scenes visually look. We just have a square that represents a room, so we'd probably do something pretty similar with the cart as well. Whereas you have living talking barrels, you don't need to use real physics. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't hurt if it's a little bit far-fetched, I suppose, but you know, I still want the scene to seem like kind of realistic, even if it is a bit over dramatic. I think it wouldn't hurt like if Carol rolls, well, he jumps in front of Oliver, maybe Oliver even rolls a little bit out the way, or he could like just roll to safety and then hits Hank. Something will have to be there, some sort of object, whether it's a wall or an object Hank can roll and bang into. It will do something. We could talk about this forever. We really could. And the other guys, Elvira and Woody and Meryl, can just be somewhere and they'll have these shocked faces on their sprites when it all happens. So that would be pretty funny, but it wouldn't be funny because Hank could be hurt. Right. Even the most fantastical worlds are enhanced with at least some semblance of realism. On average, how long does it take to make a Vulgarian RPG recommend? Hi, dog. How are you doing? Welcome. Oh, I'd say forever. Your whole life. That's what it will take. I guess it just depends how ambitious you are with your project, how big it is. But it's generally something you have to commit to, that's for sure. Welcome to the stream. If you did the cart from a side view and had the edge of the cart near the top, you could use scrolling background of the road and stuff to convey the speed of the cart. Yeah, that's true. I guess it depends how we want to approach the visual design. I'm kind of not working on that bit at the moment, but that's something we're going to do next week. But that could definitely be a possibility a way of doing it for sure. Either we'd show the background or we'd just have a black sort of background, but it's night time, so that's one thing we know, that the stars, because this discussion about the stars, we don't necessarily have to show all the outside. I mean, it could be harder for us if we do, but it will say, I'm kind of going to try and be flexible about that and think about that afterwards, once we've actually got the plan of the scene decided. But yeah, noises, shakes and stuff, that might do the job okay, I guess we'll say. But yeah, you know, it's from Carol's perspective, so I definitely want to show the outside when she's rolled out. So when she's rolled out the cart, we're going to see other stuff. Rose is going to be there, and we'll see fighting, and there's going to be definitely outside things going on. So I guess it just depends. We'll see what works, what looks the best, and what makes the most sense, I guess. It can be selling point on the back of the box again, realistic barrel rolling physics. Got alert but still listening, fam. Take care, Zexy. Thank you for hanging out. How many more videos do you think it would take to finish the game? Or like a beta version? How many more videos? What do you mean by videos, Squirox? Just asking so I can answer your question properly. Okay. So let's get this. Right, we need to switch this. Because what we got to remember about Oliver is he's made out of clay. He's the most precious out of everybody. And he's very breakable. So, you know, Hank knows this. That's why he's jumped in front of him. You mean actual stream videos, okay. Well, the game, we're doing this game episodically, so there's no full game that you've got to wait for, or beta version. It'll be in small episode segments. So we're working on episode 1 content at the moment, obviously. How long episode 1's gonna be, there's still a question mark there. We're gonna just say, we're gonna play it by ear, and when we feel there's a decent amount of content, we'll start thinking about releasing the releasing stage after we've done testing and stuff, of course. And of course, I'll probably ask a few of you guys who's up for doing some testing. You can't rush perfection. Exactly. I've got no interest in rushing, that's for sure. We're on stream 92 today, are we? I would be happy to do 1,000 streams of this. You know, I don't care about rushing. I just want it to be good. But there's no plan on an end to the game or how many episodes there's gonna be. We're gonna just do it till, you know, as long as we enjoy it for, really. But I do like that we're gonna be releasing in episodes, because there'll be at least something playable and out there in a decent amount of time. I mean, this year is kind of the target at some point in 2020 for episode 1. Carol crashes in tank, making a hole in him, and so hopefully that sums it up. If anybody thinks, actually, say that instead, feel free to say. Okay, so now the next bit. Carol, she lands on the ground. Outside, she sees Rose jump out and attack the hijackers. Or we do. We kind of see it, but Carol's there when it's happening, so we know that she can see. The hijackers then capture Rose, and Carol watches them take Rose prisoner, and Carol is left behind. So the cart speeds off, and Carol is left behind. Okay, so while this is all happening, it's speeding quite fast. So that's another thing as well. So when Carol actually falls, the cart would have gone. It would have already sped off. So how Rose is pretty, you know, she's a vampire. She's pretty good at fighting. She would be okay with killing things and moving, well, on a moving cart. So she'd just be doing that, biting people while the cart's moving. But yeah, so all this is probably happening at the same time. Probably actually it makes more sense to have this. Whether she sees them capture Rose, I don't know. It all depends how fast everything happens. Because it could have already sped off well before then. But that might sum it up okay, hopefully. Sorry, lurking, just being told some redundancy coming, so listening to you search for a new job just in case. Oh my god, Azrael, that sounds awful. I really hope you aren't involved in that. Keep us updated. Got my fingers crossed with you for you. Good luck. Yeah, defo. Let us know. I'll be thinking about you. Okay, so, and no worries at all. Lurking is very much appreciated. Okay. So I think we've got that scene okay. I think we can get rid of that now. We'll expand more on that properly when we do the scene creation next week. We'll really get that sorted, and we could do some play tests of how it all works, and that'll be really fun. But yeah, we've got a good description sorted, and I think that is really all the main things that's involved in the hijacking. If anybody thinks I missed anything out, feel free to say. But yeah, all this bit with Rose and the attack is likely very much going on before Carol fell out of the cart as well. We'll say we'll have to have a mess around with it and see whatever works best. Okay, so next task is going to be to do scene 8, the scene after the flashback. Because there's not going to be a lot of dialogue here. There's going to be tiny bits of dialogue in between all the action. So we'll just fit that in with whatever we feel is appropriate when we do with the actual hijacking scene. So, yep. Well, I'm going to move these boxes down here. Oops. Oh, actually, maybe up here. Because I could delete these ones now because we've already worked on that particular dialogue for these boxes. But I'm going to keep it here just in case I need to refer to it again. Let's get it all here. But guys, if you want to have a peek, I'm going to remind you again, we got a link so you can see the dialogue that we've been working on. Okay, so, and we also have a timeline that we've been doing too. I'm going to take another screenshot of that later and put it in the Discord as well. Okay, so I'm going to go on a quick BRB, guys. I'll be back in a few and we'll get started with the next scene. So I'll see you very soon. Hello, I am back. And Zexy is right, I got a snack. Guess what it is? It's coconut and almond milk. That's what it is. Has anybody had that before? That sounds yummy. It's really good. It's great for me as well because it lets me drink milk without getting ill afterwards. So, which is awesome. And it fills me up nicely before dinner because I don't like eating on stream. Like, I don't like having to crunch, and I feel a bit awkward doing that. So it's a lot easier to just drink some almond milk or something like that. So not Baileys. All my Baileys is gone now, Asriel. I'm sad. I like my Baileys. It's gone now. All my alcohol's gone. My Christmas alcohol. Okay, so right, we're gonna do scene 8 now. So we'll get rid of that. I like labelling things, keeps things organised. So scene 8, I mean, we haven't finished scene 7 yet, just so you know. We've got hijacking, and we've still got a little bit of extra conversation that's optional. But we're going to revisit the optional conversation afterwards. And the hijacking is more action focused than dialogue, so we'll revisit that and add some dialogue that we feel is appropriate when we begin the action scenes. And scene 6 is sort of 95% there, and scene 8 is the other part of the sandwich, because I see scene 6, 7 and 8 as a sandwich, because the flashback's the middle bit, filling, and 6, scene and 8 are the bread bits. So it's the post-flashback. Flashback part. So we'll move that one here now. And we're going to be thinking about what Carol's going to actually say after the flashback. I've made a couple of notes, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think too. And that means we can also... This is our January to-do list, so we can also mark that as in progress now, because we're going to work on it. Oh, I don't think that highlighted then. But I'm not going to bold them as complete yet, because none of these scenes are 100% finished, but we will flesh them out and finalise them. Probably have another look at them over the weekend. But I would really like to begin at the actual cutscene in RPG Maker as well, and we can do some test plays for it as well. That will be fun for scenes 6, 7 and 8. 6, 9 and 10 we'll do that as once we've got 6, 7 and 8 done, I'd say, and then we'll be able to go back to the boss stuff as well, because we've got some boss battle stuff to finish as well. Right, so scene 8, Carol and Rose at post flashback. So the last part of the scene of the flashback we saw would have been, let's remind ourselves, Carol falling out of the cart, being outside, watching her family go away, not having a clue where they are, and knowing that Rose was with them and is the only body that knows where they are. And the previous conversation, she has been having a go at Rose. She was like, "Is that you?" And then she mentions the hero that she knows her. And if you pick a certain dialogue option, she says that she was there the night his son was taken. She knows where she is. She has to know where he is. And there's a little bit of... There's a quarrel as well if you kind of say a certain thing. You set Carol off. And I think that's quite good. I like that bit of dialogue. But basically, Carol has probably come to the conclusion that Rose doesn't talk. Because she hasn't talked. She hasn't uttered a single human word. That's for sure. So let's think about what she's going to say. I'm imagining she'll have a bit of a monologue to herself. Whether the hero has a dialogue box choice thing going on that interrupts her at this point, we don't know. We could literally just have it be Carol having a little talk to herself and end the scene there. It depends where we want to take this. Rit Rat, how are you doing? It's good to see you. How are things? It's been a while. I mostly just drink the chocolate almond milk. I use coconut for like... Oh, really? You like it then, Sexy? I like it. I'm not that fussy with drinks. As long as it tastes decently and it's healthy. I suppose Baileys isn't healthy though, is it? Ordinary, thank you for the follow. Welcome. How are you doing today? I'm Rit Rat. Tell us about things. How are things going? Okay, so we're going to have to start the scene. Say something like... the hero and Rose are facing Carol as she... when the flashback finishes, when the flashback ends, something like that. Picture that's, well, we're back in the Everbloom Forest, facing Carol. Back to the present day in the Everbloom Forest. That makes sense, maybe. Right, so hang on, let me get my notes up. I haven't got many notes, literally just a little couple of things, but we'll see. So I haven't got much at all, and this scene, how I have got it in my head, it wouldn't be that long, but I still am curious what you guys think and what your thoughts are about what Carol could be monologuing about. Is that even a word, monologuing? Okay, so yeah, Carol just having a massive rant to herself about the situation, feeling sorry for herself, and we can call her Carol now because we know her name. So things have been great. I work 8 to 4 p.m. US Eastern time, so I never have a chance to see her stream. I've hopped in a few times, brought her, so being busy. Oh well, that sounds really exciting, and these things happen, don't worry about it, Rit Rat. Life happens, but it's always a pleasure to see you. The RPG is taking shape. I think I popped in when you were starting it. Have you used RPG Maker before? Yeah, we've been working on it a while now. I exclusively do this content now. This is because basically all I do on Twitch, and I couldn't be happier. I'm glad I made the decision to do this. It's just been so fun. And I have used RPG Maker before. I've used it since I was a 12-year-old, since I was a little one, but just very casually. I tried making some games when I was a kid, and they were terrible. But it was very fun discovering this software when I was young. It was like a dream come true. So I'd say that this is my first proper attempt at doing something seriously in RPG Maker anyway. and it's awesome. I think you guys should do it too. I mean, I know a couple of people here who are starting a project in RPG Maker, and it's always fun to hear other people's creative projects too. And that's fantastic. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that things have been going well. That's news I like to hear. Happy you found your niche. I really have. I definitely have indeed. I feel very lucky to have found my niche. I think monologuing is technically wrong. It would be more correct to say give a monologue about, but that's, yeah. I'm always silly with my made up words. I like making up words, but it does sound very strange. It's a bit of a hard word to say, monologuing, but monologue's a great word. Okay, so the first thought I'm trying to get my improvisation brain on now. I'm imagining myself in Carol's point of view. So I imagine that she'd be, okay, so I want to kind of express that she's made it her goal in life to find her family ever since this has happened. It's a funny thing to say though, considering the timeline. Because if we look at the timeline, it was only 1 month ago when she was separated from them. So for her to have like made that, well, I suppose make it something, if something very serious and life-changing happened a month ago, it is like, there's nothing wrong with saying you've made it your goal in life or you've made it your life's mission, is there really? I mean, it's not like she's been doing it for long, but in Barrel lifetime, a month is a long time, isn't it? Considering Carol is only 6 months old, according to this timeline. She, that has been a whole 6th of her life. So that's crazy. Me, as 30 years old, if I divide that into 6, that would be like 5 years. If that was in my timeline, that is pretty, it's actually quite a big chunk of a lifetime when you think of it like that. Poor Carol. Become one with the barrel. To the hero. So do you see, she was there that night. She was taken away with the rest. And she's here now. She must have escaped and she must know where my son is. Yes, that's true. So okay, let's get all our thoughts down. I'm thinking let's get the red box back. And because it can be pretty hard to write dialogue when you've got all these different ideas spinning in your head. So we'll note them all first and then we can break it down and get it all structured as well as we can. Oh no, little tiny text has appeared. There we go. Okay, so Zex's idea . She could say with my family instead of the rest. Maybe that's one thing I'm wondering. Just because it's more of an affectionate way to talk about them, I guess. She was taken away, and she's here now. She must have escaped. She must know where my son is. Okay guys, so if you do have anything, if you get in Carol's shoes and imagine what would come out of her mouth at this moment in time, feel free to say and I'll get it noted down. And we'll get the best monologue of all time that Carol's ever uttered. It's going to make everybody fall in love with Carol. Okay. Rose, you're not 30, you're not older than me, you're 22 tops. Well, I had somebody, it was around Christmas, it was just before Christmas actually, when I was going Christmas shopping, thought I was 12, so that's even younger than what Sexy thought. They was going to give me child fare. So, to be fair, I didn't have my makeup on, and I wasn't like dressed up at all, and I do look 12 when I have a washed face. I'm very happy though about that, really, because it means that I'm never going to age. Hopefully, if that's the case, I ain't going to complain. You heard Heroes is 5 in barrel years. Just watch the story recap, it looks so good. Oh, thank you, Rit Rat. I'm going to be doing lots of those videos, and it's for people who maybe like yourself can't always be here all the time and maybe have missed a lot of the development time and just want to be brought up to speed on what's happened in the story. So it's for people like that and for people who are new as well. So I'm excited to do more. There's going to be a second video coming up once we've done scene 10, and we're on scene 8 now. So I'll 100% change anything you want. I just threw out a framework to give us a starting point and help the ideas right. Yeah, and that, I'm very appreciative of that, Zexy, because it's always better to have something than nothing. And I've got just a bunch of random things in my head. I haven't formed a sentence, like a proper effective monologue, but I've got a bunch of ideas, so I'm going to note them down. Carol, she hasn't like said that or something or anything above. I just want to kind of communicate how much it means to her, and that it's literally her life. And I suppose because it's so important to the plot, like it's even got here that the hero, us as the main character, get dragged into this quest. It's got to be pretty important for us to get dragged into something. Right, and also yeah, something like literally that this is the key thing I'd say here. So she was there that night, she was taken with the rest, and she's here now, she must have kept, she must know where my son is. Okay, so just going to remind myself what exactly Carol had here, because I don't want to get too repetitive at all, but I think she's been quite vague about it so far, hasn't she? Yeah, she only kind of talks about it here, really. But you would only have known that if you'd picked a certain choice option. So you're admitting you actually are a vampire. I am. That's why I stay so young. It's no lie when I say I'm a vampire. How else would I look 12? Well, 22 when I've got makeup on, and 12 when I've not got makeup on. When really I'm 10 years older. Well, maybe I'm 50 really. No, I was born in 1989. That is the honest to God's truth. I mean, I was a 90s child. But it's very funny that people think I'm much younger. I'm not going to complain. Okay, so I'm grey. I'm not gonna lie, I'm grey. So that if I didn't dye my hair, you would see that I'm old. But in all honesty, this is my natural hair colour, but I do dye it so I can hide my greys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not that grey, just a little bit grey. Thank you, Davy Pizza, for the follow. I appreciate that. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Just a youngster. Okay, so I wanted to moan. I'm trying to think of some good moaning words. So I'm probably gonna merge some of what Zex has said as well into this where it's appropriate, but I'm gonna just literally write something I'm thinking, and we can alter it if we feel the need. Okay, so I'm not sure about how natural some of this is going to sound, which is, I'm sure we will have to alter some things to make it sound more believable, but it's always good to just get anything that's coming in your head first. Yeah, I'm kind of like wondering if she should talk to Rose or talk to the hero. Part of me's kind of thinking she should be talking to Rose, but she could, it depends, she could talk to them both as well. She could literally face the hero, talk to him, and then turn around and talk to Rose for a bit. No harm in doing that. Raindrops, hello by the way. Hi. Oh, you've still got 0. You can turn into a trickle though. Once you've been in the channel a bit, I'm sure you will. I believe in you. Hi Andy Cake, how are you doing? How are you doing, Andy Cake? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a good week. And Davey or anybody else that's new here, feel free to have a peep. I'm going to put some commands in chat again for you guys. You can peek at the story so far, and you can also have a look at the dialogue we've been working on over the last week. So feel free to have a peep. Okay, so she needs to be far more ragey. So I'm going to make her say some swear words now, but obviously barrel swear words. So I'm definitely up for barrel swear words ideas if it can fit and be natural. I don't know if this one's going to work, but useless. Okay, so right at this point, no, where she says, now here you are, she should probably face Rose. Right, so this is the first time I saw this kind of stream. This is pretty no, thank you. I'm glad you're intrigued by it. And yes, I think this is pretty niche thing on Twitch. I want to find more people that do similar stuff that I do, but I don't think anybody's doing a community game. I'm sure there's loads of people that are doing games though. It's always fun to say. But welcome. Driftwood, kettling, French, kindling. Awesome. So what do you think? Anything that needs adjusting here? Son of a driftwood. Son of a bucket was one. I just remembered somebody mentioned that and I've got it in my notes. So I saw it earlier and I kind of want to use that. Son of a bucket. Maybe that could be what somebody says during the hijacking and the panic. Okay. Maybe at this point Rose it would show Rose's reaction as well. Because she's just been called a useless flesh bag. What sort of expression? Rose is mysterious because she's a mute, but I'm Rose, so I should be able to know this. How would I feel right now if a barrel spoke to me like that? I'd be sad, you know. Sad. Son of a numbhead. Avira used rust bucket. Right, she did. Oh, no, she said rusty oil drum. Yeah, we changed it to oil drum just so we didn't mislead people about what he was. We didn't want people to assume he was a bucket. So we called him a rusty oil drum. But son of a bucket has a really good ring to it, I must admit. Okay, so maybe she'd say something else. I think I did change Fiona Buckington's dialogue to monsters rather than monster now. I can't remember now. I'm gonna have to look back because I think it's important to refer to what the actual quest is that we're on right now, which is the sacrifice. We're about to sacrifice Rose to the monsters of the Everbloom Forest. We don't know who those monsters are yet, but we soon will in the next scene. And we need to remind the player about that because we've kind of gone off track a bit. We've been talking about the barrels, so I kind of wanted Carol to mention that just before the cutscene ends. So once it stops and we're allowed to move again, the player's reminded that that's what we're doing. We're about to sacrifice Rose. So that's why I think we should do that. And I'm really not sure other than that what we should add. It's not really necessary for the hero to have a choice at this point. I don't think the hero doesn't necessarily even have to speak at all. It could just be a Carol monologue, and so although we could add this dialogue, it might sort of mean the hero's got to respond. So Carol talking to herself, or Rose in particular, could all work, and maybe not, we wouldn't need the hero to say anything, because I don't know if it's necessary, you say. I'm not against the hero saying something and us having another choice thing, but only if it's like something that's necessary, I guess. Which faking tools or programming will you be using? The programming language is JavaScript. I've got a command for the program here if you guys want to have a look about what's involved with that. But welcome, Josh. The good one thing about this project, the code we do is literally 5%, if that, probably more towards 2 or 1% actually, because we spend more time doing the design stuff rather than we build the game in terms of writing, decisions, world building, character creation and discussion, skill discussion and all that. So it's all the fun bits that we kind of do on this stream, and we do like obviously have to do some scripting, but it's quite minimal just because RPG Maker's a very, very straightforward software to use, so it's a lot easier than it would be with anything else. Thank the gods. Is this going to be a text-based RPG game? Is it going to be like the games where you move a character or anything like that? It's quite funny because that's not the first time I've been asked that this week. Somebody asked if this was a text-based game. The answer is no, it's an RPG game. We just like writing the dialogue out like this because it's just far more effective in my opinion than go opening RPG Maker and writing the dialogue straight into the editor, because I that doesn't get the inspiration flowing for me. I like to use something like this and then put it into the software at the end. But honestly, if you want to see what it looks like visually, that's the link, the story so far. It shows you what our game looks like, and it talks a bit about, well, I'm talking about what's happened so far in the story, and you can see everything and how it actually looks there. So there you go. If you're curious about how it is, what sort of game it is, that's the link to click. Pretty mint and interesting though, yeah. 2D, yep. Hi Battle Sandwich, how you doing? Still working on Adventures of the Bowers? We are indeed. We're going to be doing some cutscene work though next week. We're actually putting the scenes together because we're very much, we're not done, but we're at a stage now where we can actually build a scene, and we've got a lot of the dialogue planned. I'm going to zoom out so you can see. It's all here, look at all that. So we've got quite a bit of scene work to make, and it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. I'll check it out. Yay, thank you. I'll be glad to see you sacrifice to these monsters. I'm not 100% sure about the wording of that, but that's basically what I want it to say, that she's glad. And just to remind the player that that's where we're going next. For Rose to be sacrificed. So I feel like adding we're about to meet or something that means that we might need to do as well, just to remind the player as well that that's where we're going. Cause I know, I like to make sure, because people might have forgot. It's been a while since we've talked about Rose getting sacrificed. It's all up here. Many scenes ago. So it's just to jog everybody's mind, really, that line. I don't know if meat is the ideal word. It's going to be a lot more aggressive than meeting the monsters, but Yep. Yeah, thank you, Battle Sandwich. This is really rare, to be honest. Never seen someone stream a game in the making. Oh, really, Dave? Well, I'm glad to have you here. Welcome. And I think the science and technology category is pretty... It seems like it's got a really nice community of people, and I've met some people that are making games as well on here. So there's definitely other folk doing game development stuff. I'm not one on my own. I think what makes this different is simply the fact it's a community game, and we're all pretty much getting involved and discussing things together and having it be our little thing. Okay. Oh wait, Rose is here as a talker woman friend. We finally get the woman herself in. Yes, Rose, who never speaks. It's interesting, Rose's character arc, where it's going to go. For sure. Yeah, and we have a lot of polls and stuff as well. If you want to browse our Trello page, we've got literally an archive of all the community polls that everybody's voted on. And we have everybody's character sheets on there as well. So you can always have a peep at those. And we got the schedule, our to-do list and things too. How have you been, Bal Sandwich? Hope you've been doing good. Okay, so let me reread this then. Yeah, I'm thinking now that should be there. Or she can do the sad face and then just do an angry face. I don't want Rose to lose her badassery. She's badass, so I don't think she'd appreciate that comment. A lot of Rose's character is going to be very much facial expressions and sounds, maybe. She's like feral, so she'd probably make sounds. Okay, so I'm just wondering if there's literally anything essential we haven't mentioned, particularly with some of the things Zexy said, because if the player could have worked it out in the flashback what's going on, I don't think we'd need to mention it, because it might just be extra, extra text that isn't necessary. I'm a big fan of the minimal when it comes to dialogue, so if we don't need to add something, I'm probably inclined to not, but if we have to, then it's definitely a good idea. Okay, I'm okay with what we've got here, but let me know, guys, if you have any ideas at all, if there's anything that you think could sound more, that could fly better, then let me know. Sometimes with dialogue things I like to look back a bit after with fresh eyes as well. Hi Met, how are you doing? Can she shake her head and nod to answer an elaborate game of 20 questions, or guess just the regular kind without the animal, vegetable, mineral part? Is that a joke? I'm sorry if I've not got it. I'm bad with jokes. Bit mad, but to be honest, just happy to sit down and visit here for a while. Oh, well, I hope you get better, Battle Sandwich. And it's lovely to have you here. It always is. The classic silent non-player protagonist. I have a soft spot for those type of characters. That's why I made myself one. lean on the side of not for now. If we pick up on peeps getting confused about it, then it can just be adjusted then. Yeah, that's true. I mean, can always add, and sometimes you don't realise these things until you've actually done the scene and you're doing the dialogue in the actual game sometimes. So I think we're doing good, but really we could end the scene at this part. Like, it could be a very short scene, and it ends when Rose does that, and Carol's reminded us of what our task is there. We're about to meet some monsters that Rose can be sacrificed to, and she's had a little wine. She said flesh bag again, which is good. It's Carol's favourite word for humans. So she said she's made it her life's mission to find out exactly where the cart went, which, yeah, I think that sums it up. She just wants to find. I'm just going to look back at this scene. Because she's not actually mentioned a family once, like as a whole. I mean, she's mentioned a son being taken. Only if you select that dialogue box will you get that, though. She's mentioned the box here, but she's not mentioned him being gone. I feel like the flashback does make it clear what the situation is. But I'm simply thinking, what if we make it less about the cart and more about the family? So she could say, I made it my life's mission to find out where my family went, rather than the cart. Just maybe a little bit more, because that's what it's about, really. Find the family, not so much the cart. I mean, what's the good in finding the cart if the family aren't in there, right? Like, if someone wanted to interrogate her about something, could she give informative negative answers to something like, was the building surrounded by trees? Oh, that is a good one too. A good direction for how the characters could communicate with her, as I get it now. So that could be done too. And I feel like we could make use of that sort of concept for sure. But one thing that is going to happen as well, and it's just by pure coincidence and chance, is that, let's just have a peep in the main story. We're going to cut, the monsters happen to be painters. Have you guys, who's seen the first boss here? Let's get the Trello up so you guys can see, because I know we've had some newer people in the stream lately, so you might actually be aware of who these monsters are that we're going to be sacrificing Rose to, that we'll be fighting first. These guys, so they are sentient fruits that very likely also got brought to life by the spell. They are painters, so there is a painter's easel in the middle of the forest, and Carol sees that and he's like, right, you paint a picture for me and you tell me where they are, where they went. And Rose paints with her blood, which is easy because she's a vampire, so it's not, she can just paint with her blood. And that was Carol's idea, because seeing that like made her think, yeah, let's do that. But then they get interrupted by these guys and a fight happens. But maybe Rose paints a picture in time, maybe. But I do like your idea, Met, because yours is the very straightforward one. And is it possible to attempt that your idea in this scene? I wouldn't say no to making this scene longer and having a bit of that sort of thing going on with Carol and Rose before we put an end to the scene. Maybe Carol can start asking questions to her and ask for a yes or no answer, and Rose is absolutely useless or doesn't help, and Carol gets mad, and that's when she says, I'll be glad to see you sacrificed, because she just loses her patience with Rose, and she's just like, oh, you're a useless flashback. So that's a possibility. I am not against making the scene a bit more thicker and doing that sort of thing, because I think it makes sense that would be their first aim, to ask Rose questions. The regular kind without animal, vegetable, mineral, 20 questions without those. But why is a regular kind? Like regular questions, that makes sense. I'm going to go with that. Regular questions. She could answer those. Yeah, we could make this scene be a head nod scene then, or a shake head scene. I guess it's just like, what would Carol ask that would work? She couldn't like say, she couldn't ask an open-ended question like, so where did they go? Because she's got no way of saying. It has to be something like, so did they go to, but we got to make it on purpose Rose be terrible and not helping Carol, just so Carol can, as an excuse for Carol to get angry with her and tell her that she'll be glad to see her sacrificed. The scene isn't going to work out well for Carol, let's just put it that way. It's not going to be that easy for Carol. Things are never easy in stories. Though so far I don't think there are any other characters who would really consider questioning her analytically like that. Yeah, maybe Carol's not smart enough to think of that. What do you reckon? You'd have to, I mean, we are going to have other people join the party over the adventure, so maybe someone else could come up with such an idea. But it's hard for even me to think of the kind of questions Carol could ask Rose that would be a nod or a shake head. I'm going to eat lunch. Bye, Rose. Take care, Juice. Have a good lunch. I hope it's really yummy. We have bosses in the game. Can't tell if... Yeah, Zex is always sarcastic. He knows full well who those fruits are. He's seen them all the while. My goodness. Oh, Battle Sandwich, look at you. Almost at 500. 1/4 of a way up. Yeah, GG. That's awesome. Carol shouldn't be done right, just too oblivious probably. Yeah, she's a little bit naive. I mean, she's only lived for 6 months. What do we expect? Her lifespan's been 6 months. It used to only be 3 months, but we did we made the timeline a little bit longer. Suddenly wasn't sure that we had. Yeah. Hi, oh, Azriel as well. He's got a ridiculous amount of raindrops. Well done, Azriel. You pro lurker, you. Catch you up in no time. It's very possible to get the 500 raindrops in 3 weeks if you lurk loads. And make the most of it while you can, guys, because I have considered raising the requirement to be a character in the game a bit more, but right now it's staying as it is, so don't panic. It's fine at the moment. But it would be if like we end up getting too many characters, that would be when I'd raise the requirement. So, well, I did live here for a while. I'm moving back in. Yay. Binary's got the 500 raindrops. Well, it's 600, one away. Optimism. Yeah, it's definitely very possible. I mean, look how many raindrops I've got, guys. Look how many I've got. That is the max you can have in this stream. I'm 0 on the leaderboard. Yeah, I should share some. No sharing allowed. This stream is a hoarding stream and a selfish stream where everybody has their own raindrops. But it's actually, you guys are the opposite of selfish in reality. Imagine that took, yeah. On your character sheet, your deepest secret is others doubt I'm sentient. Oh yes, I want to change that let me just state that I 100% need to change sentient, because I don't think sentient's the right term for what Rose is. I mean, sentient means anything that's alive, doesn't it, realistically? So really I should be using another word that's more fitting for what Rose is to people. It's more they don't see her as a human than her. They know she's alive, obviously. They just don't see her as a human because she's animalistic and feral. So I need to change that word, but let me read the rest of it. It's not that nobody has been smart enough to ask yes or no questions. It's that Rose is treated like an animal and nobody's a reason to ask yes or no questions. After all, you don't go up to every random squirrel in the forest and ask them questions just because they can answer. That's true as well, Zexy. A good perspective. It's probably true that Carol wouldn't think of doing it. I was about to consider potentially turning this into a questioning scene. And I wasn't against doing that because it would be fun. I think that would be super fun to write. But we have to be realistic about it and think, would Carol have the sense to do that? Probably not. We're probably going to meet another party member in the future that might consider doing that with Rose though. But I think it definitely probably makes more sense for Carol to get triggered by the painting, seeing the canvas. She'd be like, yeah, you can paint for me, because it just happened to be there. Lucky Carol. So that's going to be fun when Rose paints the painting. It reveals kind of the location of where it is, so that will be all what's happening next when the boss is being defeated. You and Rex are hoarding all the raindrops. Yeah. You'll get them now. The raindrops here are unlimited, don't forget, so nobody can get short. Raindrops are a forever unlimited resource. Sentient probably isn't. No, that's like have thoughts, consciousness and stuff, right? Yeah, I think I was struggling to find the proper word, but somebody did say in stream the other day what might be a more ideal word to have instead. So I might look at the VOD and just update that to what a proper term, because it feels like sentient is a bit misleading for Rose, especially because she's clearly alive. Everybody can see that, but she's just not seen as human. Wait, you don't ask local squirrels for wisdom. Look at that smirky face there, that smirky Charmander I see. I'm not trying to say Carol shouldn't ask questions, I'm just saying a character not doing it doesn't make them dumb. If anything, I think the hero should be the one to ask the yes or no questions if their wisdom's high enough. That's actually true. I keep forgetting about the hero because he doesn't really... Everything's choice based with the hero rather than actual dialogue. But that could even make it more fun because you get a choice of what question you want to ask, and you only get the chance once maybe, and it will affect which one you ask will affect your traits. And it's true, maybe you'll need wisdom because we want to make use of the trait system. Like, we want to have high wisdom for a reason, don't we? And that could be something good to do if you have got high wisdom. But it's very early on in the game at the moment to have high wisdom, for sure. You'd barely have any wisdom points at this stage. There's some good results on sapience versus sentience if you're interested in clarifying the game. Oh, that's the word sapience. I knew it was one that was similar to sentience, so I'll definitely read up about that. Especially with the hero should be asking the questions. Yay. Compassion, is that what it's called, could also lead to asking yes and no. Yeah. I feel like Rose and the hero have a good relationship already. Well, the hero definitely has probably more sympathy to Rose than Carol, that's for sure. It depends with what dialogue options you pick. Because he can defend her, you do have that option, but you also can not. But even if you don't defend Rose, the hero still doesn't dislike Rose. It'd just be neutral towards Rose. Carol absolutely despises Rose right now. Is there any ways, anyone got any ideas to make Carol despite like any dialogue that could enhance this conversation. If not, then no worries at all. I'm just curious if anybody thinks we can make this conversation even better. But I'm okay with what we've got. For sure. Doesn't have to be a super long scene. The main thing is that it just closes the flashback, sums things up, and we get like just a reminder of what the quest was that we're on. Convo seems good for now, yay. Was it compassionate, wisdom, and bravery? Yeah, those are the three. So versus jerk face in brackets, yeah. That's probably the best way to describe it. You're a jerk if you're not compassionate. And we've had a lot of a lot of what we've done has been compassion based at the moment, particularly the Fiona Bookington and the lake business. That had an effect on compassion. I need to get that conversation copied and pasted in here as well, the actual lake one, because I haven't got it in here. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Carol could give her a dirty look at the end. Yeah, I definitely think Carol, this particular line here would be combined with a pretty hateful face. But to be honest, all Carol's expressions are pretty hateful. We've got her, where's her avatar? We've got one of her smiling, which is her default one. But there's another one we've got a Carol where she's like really pulling a horror face. I like that one. So we'll definitely probably use that one for that. And we'll have to make the expressions for the other guys too, the other barrel companions. We'll do that next week as well when we're making the scene, because we'll want to show lots of different expressions for them. Yeah, that's literally the best picture of Carol, this one here, where she looks the happiest. The others, she looks disgusted. I literally just flipped and rotated her mouth and it made her look disgusted. So I thought, well, yeah, let's have that one. Just mean when the story gets to a point where one explodes, should have the hero that triggers. Yeah, oh, don't worry, I got that for sure. Hero having high wisdom lets him recognise that there is a layer of understanding and humility in Rose, and that she's not just a feral animal. Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, and I like that we're relying on the painting as well as our only lead at this point in the story, because if we learn to ask Rose questions now, I suppose that could be something that the party would focus on instead rather than the painting. So I do like that we're relying on the painting for everything. Push the little girl in the lake or not conversation. I think that was one of the first streams I interacted in. Yeah, it feels like such a long time ago now. But that was fun. That's when our game got interesting, in my opinion, because it was the first time we actually started doing dialogue properly and choices in the game, and that's when we came up with the morality system. And when somebody suggested pushing her in the lake, at first I was like, what? No way, that's too mean. But then I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I don't regret it one bit, because that scene played out really well when we did it. And we did that shocked face on Fiona Bookington, which I don't think I've put in the story so far video, actually. I didn't show that bit when she was pushed in the lake, so that's a surprise for people, that bit is, who actually play the game. I really thought you were just making them yourself for a second there. What the ravens tell you. Ravens are a good animal. But yeah, guys, so what's everybody thinking? Because today's our last stream of the week and we're coming towards the end. Oh no. So we can review what we've done now. We've literally done all this dialogue work here. And although it's not, none of the scenes are 100% done, I feel like we've done enough to make a scene out of these. And anything we feel we need to adjust, we can do it as well. We can, once we've made the scenes, or as we're doing the scenes, we'll see how things go. And yep, we've got stuff to expand on. Like we've got the option to have more conversation with the barrels as well, but we can do that at a later date when we get some more ideas. Because I'm very intrigued to know what you guys potential ideas for conversations with these barrels. But we've definitely had a good bit of banter so far already, but we're still racking our brains a bit about what else they can talk about. And yeah, and that scene will lead to the hijacking. These, I'm wondering if I should delete them, but I just want to get them out the way for now. I might just move them up here out the way so they don't get too merged in with the hijacking scene. But yeah, as for dialogue for the hijacking scene, I can't think of any other than somebody shouting "son of a bucket" in panic, and Oliver being scared and saying "what's happening" or "what's happening" in a cute voice. That's better. And something like that would be dialogue, but I can't think what other dialogue there'd be. It would be very minimal dialogue for that point, I'd say. And then the scene would be over, and there we go. And then the next we got is literally the fruit, guys. So who's looking forward to doing the fruits dialogue? Because I am. That's going to be crazy, guys, because the fruit characters are absolutely bonkers, aren't they? But we will make the scenes for these ones first before we jump into doing the dialogue for the fruits. I feel like focusing on getting those scenes put together for the barrels and everything will be a good job done if we can do that first. So, hi Clockwork, how you doing? It's so good to see you. How are things going? We're having a good day? I'm going to catch up with chat because I've been rambling to myself again. Maybe Wisdom didn't show you she isn't just feral. I think in real life play, I would assume we'll guess that no matter what we do with the story. Oh gosh, Slobs is being silly again and not letting me scroll back in chat. And worries me, feel like we're trying to spoon feed the player rather than let them feel out the characters themselves. Oh, that's an interesting point, Battle Sandwich. However, maybe Wisdom lets the player get a thought bubble or such. Explains how he recognised how most other people would probably treat her more as an animal than a person. It give a clear understanding of how she's treated without them having to see it. Just a thought. Yay, progress. The organisation is really useful, to be sure. Yeah, well, obviously, anything we can do to avoid spoon feeding is always a plus. We won't want to do that. So, if anybody ever finds us going in that route, then feel free to say what we can do. I'm going to copy and paste what you said, though, Battle Sandwich, because I want to reread it later. I feel you made a hecking lot of progress, and I really like that you're using such organisational structure. Yeah, same. I couldn't even dream or imagine putting the dialogue straight into RPG Maker. Just the thought of that sounds stressful. I wouldn't even know where to start. In all honesty, I wouldn't know where to begin. Just doing it like this, it's crazy how much better the ideas flow, I've found. So we're going to keep doing it this way, guys. That's for sure. We need to put some arrows here as well. A bit messy at the moment, but we'll tidy them up later. In my head, it plays out as somebody shouting, "Your mother was a bucket," as they run away. Your mother was a bucket. That's such a good insult. I want to know the context of that. Like, I'd love to picture what sort of like relationship is going on with two characters that would, with one that would shout that at the other, because I really do like that insult. I think that would be an insult somebody would say to Axel the oil drum. Probably Woody. Something Woody would say to Axel, in my opinion, thinking of the relationships they have. It's been such a long time. How are you doing? I'm doing great, Clockwork. We're doing an RPG together. We've been doing that for the last 92 streams. Can you believe it? It's stream 92 today. We're nearly hitting stream 100. How are you though, SJ? Have you been doing good? How's life treating you? For fruits dialogue, we should just have a chat person take up one of each fruit and argue with each other about what we say. We'd get a proper thing. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to copy your idea, Battle Sandwich, because when we do get to the fruit stuff, I'm going to need ideas. I'm going to want to refer to some notes to help me, to help inspire me. So still a little bit early yet to think about the fruit dialogue, but I'm totally not against people coming up talking about ideas. I mean, one of the reasons this conversation here has worked out so well is because of people's ideas previously as well. There was a lot of inspiration, like lots of awesome notes here from people's ideas many weeks ago that I popped in these boxes, so they really helped. Particularly the whole oil drum saga with Elvira. But honestly, the Stars thing with Dexy was a really good way to do that conversation. I couldn't even imagine it starting better. So I'm really glad we went with that. Thanks for your ideas for that, Sexy. Okay. LOL, that works with pulling up Discord to copy paste myself since it was a bit long. Glad it's useful to you though. Yeah, and if you do want to put in the Discord, that's fine as well. If you want to expand on it, no worries. If you've ever got something else that you want to say, we should at least knock down your mother as a book if you choose. I definitely have. I've put it in quotes because it's great. I mean, it's hard. I don't know if it's going to fit with the context of this conversation because it's a nice little family environment here at the moment, but it'll be perfect when the time's right. Okay, we should, yeah. How many days? It's 92 streams. Hi, Ad. 92 streams, 92 days, I guess. But of course, without the days off. Because I have Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays off, and I've had vacation weeks in between as well sometimes, so it's not been 92 consecutive days, that's for sure. Isn't Woody an older barrelman? No, your mother was. X doesn't feel like an older. Oh no, Woody's the same age as Meryl and Carol, so he's the same age as them. He's a comic relief guy. I guess he originally was going to be older, but because Hank's the older one in the crew, making Woody a young guy felt like that character he was missing. So, and he looks pretty young, so it's hard to say he's older than Meryl and Carol because of the whole generations idea thing we've got now, with them all being born 3 months at a time. And I don't think he'd be quite as old as what Carol and Meryl's parents are. So, because if you look at our timeline now, we've actually gone it in a way that they've all come to life in 3 month time periods. Elvira and Hank did first because they're the oldest. There's a 9-month one as well, but we haven't put that yet because we haven't met those characters, but they would assumingly be Carol's parents. Then Carol and Meryl are the generation after that, and then the generation after that's Oliver. And he's the youngest, so I think that's pretty clever. It was Zex's idea. I love it. But yes, Woody would be the he's the funny guy. We've got to remember that, guys. Any amusing dialogue, 90% of the time will probably go to Woody, I'd say. Not saying that the others can't be funny, but he's the funny one in my eyes. Okay, absolutely just scenario playing out in my head. My writing tends to lead more to comedy than action, which is brilliant, Azriel. Thank you, because that's going to be a good line in the future. So if you ever get any, feel free to say. My thinking of Rose is Rose's character, and as part of her story, Rose has said that people don't recognise her as anything more than an animal. So if this was D&D game and this was how Rose wanted it to be, another character would get a sense of motive perception check. It would be based off wisdom, not compassion. So again, that quest line behind wisdom makes more sense to me. Okay, I'm going to copy that and put that under Battle Sandwich. I haven't had a chance to properly read what Battle Sandwich said about the spoon feeding thing, because I'm not one that can take much in on stream. I have to reread these things after, but I'm sure we'll have a solution, guys, and I'm sure we'll go with the best way that we can. Hi Chubb, how are you doing? It's good to see you. If you guys want to expand on this in the ideas discussion channel, feel free to, because sadly I have to finish stream a touch earlier today because my family are going out and are making dinner earlier, so I have to be finishing now, and I don't want to cut anybody's conversation off, especially when it's super interesting things like this. You're good, Rose. Copy paste you do, probably good practice. So yeah, obviously if you guys want to expand on any of these thoughts, especially because it's going to be an important design decision in the game, then feel free, but no pressure at all, just in your own time. Going out, the horror, I'm not going out, but they are, so, and they're the ones making the dinner today, so yep. Was it something I said? Never, Chubb, never. Always a pleasure to have you here. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, I'm a hermit. I am. Okay, guys. So, right. We're going to finish. We're going to close up now. I think we've good. I'm very happy with our dialogue progress this week. And we will, on Monday, we're going to start seeing work in RPG Maker, and we're going to bring these conversations to life finally, and we'll get to actually watch them, and it's going to be awesome. I'm very excited. So we'll get those scenes done. 6, 7 and 8 we'll be working on all of those scenes, and we'll make sure they're looking good and they're at a good state. And once we've done those, we'll be revisiting the fruit. We'll be going back to the lemon, the blueberry, the apple, the plum, and who's the other one? The tomato. We'll be going back to those guys. We'll do their dialogue thing. We'll do it the exact same way we've done it here. And then we'll make their scene. And then we'll go back to the boss. We'll revisit the boss mechanics. I think we was doing quite well with the boss mechanics, but we will need to tidy things up, and we also need to talk about phase 2 and stuff as well with that fight. So it's a lot of exciting things, and we've only got 1 week left of this month, haven't we? So I don't think we're going to be doing all of this in January for the rest of Jan, but we can just carry on into next month. And I'd say by next month though, we will likely be finishing this and doing like full side quests. We'll be going back to Lightfall, and we'll start thinking about side quests and stuff, and that's something I'm very much looking forward to as well. You got kicked out of the Hermit Club. Take care, Rose, missed you. Thanks for hanging out, guys, and see you on Monday for sure. Try and pop in the dialogue channel with some ideas over the next few days. Yeah, of course, like these scenes 6, 7 and 8 aren't complete, and there's room for edits as well for sure. I mean, I think the progress we've got is pretty great, but yeah, we can always change things about and consider some things as well. So totally look forward to reading that. All the love, so is copy and pasting. Yeah, take care, guys. Thanks for hanging out. You're all awesome. I am gonna just give me a sec, guys, before I go. I just want to check something. I'm going to send us over to Master Emerald stream, guys. I will be in a bit of a rush because I've got dinner earlier today, but I want to make an effort to send us over to a friend, guys. So, right, do that. I had to hide my screen because I didn't want you guys seeing all my Twitch. But there we go. So, Rosemary Blood, emote of your choice, guys, and we'll go say hi to Master Emerald. She's doing an art stream today, so we'll see what she's doing, and I'll see you all on Monday. All the best, guys. All awesome.